I've spent many years as a large-scale commercial chemical farmer. In all this entire farm was greenhouses and very industrial, chemical, agricultural farming. I studied a Bachelor of Science in Horticulture, and after years of doing that, the ground was getting worse and worse and worse. Even this first plot out here, we couldn't even grow anything in it. Neil's dad was going to actually rip the entire soil out and start again. And through our systems, we had to go into hydroponics because the soils were degrading that fast. And so that's why we were very intensive. Like I said, everything was hydroponics, very intensive horticulture. And the more that we controlled the systems, the worse everything began. Pests, as we would call them pests, but we would have more troubles with spider mites and all these things because we weren't taking into ecosystems into functioning. We're just looking at the one crop, getting the maximum production out of that one crop. And so everything was getting more degraded. It was going downhill real fast. Then, luckily enough, two big cyclones hit us, Cyclone Larry and Cyclone Yasi. I say luckily enough, I'm very thankful for them hitting us nowadays. It wasn't so good at the time. $2 million worth of greenhouses and infrastructure, computers, everything gone in a matter of a couple of hours. That really hurts. And it's taken a long time to climb out of that hole. But yeah, that enabled me to then go, to hell with this, I've got to do something different. This is not working in any way, shape or form. Let alone losing that much money every time a cyclone comes through or anything like that. And the costs just keep on going up on everything. And so the majority of farms today, 90% of all their farm income actually goes back out into agribusiness. They are living on 10% left to actually run their farms on. Whereas we can completely turn that around and go the opposite way. And that way, this will build not only the communities, because the farm, all wealth is staying within the regions. It's not just going out onto large-scale agribusiness then. And we can produce more food and a better environment. We don't have to use any of the chemicals or pesticides that I've found at all. I have not had to use anything because everything's balanced. Yeah. The only reason why you will get pests in an environment attack your trees or anything like that is because there's a weakness in the ecosystem. As Earth's coins, pests are just the immune system of the planet. They come in to take out sick or stressed plants. And the only time plants actually get sick is, if they're stressed like us. They've got their own natural immune system too. So a big turnaround for Neil and myself. When Tiago came through just as a backpacker and from Brazil started telling me about this, he said, oh, you've got to plant eucalyptus. I went, hell no, get off my property. I have done a Bachelor of Science. Do not talk to me about eucalyptus. They are mongrel, hungry, thirsty things. I ain't planting them things on my property. And I just had to think about it for a couple of days, and then I just said, all right, brain, shut up. You don't know everything. There could be something in this after I seen this video. I went, all right, go away, study. And when I went away and studied the functioning of what they're doing in the systems and that, I just went, why didn't I know this 20 years ago or more? I wish I knew this. I just wish. But here we are today, and at a time that the entire Earth more needs a solution, and it's a solution for food, it's a solution for resilience, it's a solution again for that we don't have to use chemicals and pesticides, and a massive solution for carbon and cooling our entire environment as well on top of that. And so I just see this is one of the biggest solutions we have to climate change right now for the entire world. And especially for agriculture in particular, because we hold the largest land masses in the world. So that way we can make the largest changes in the world. And so yeah, I'm really inspired. I've been super inspired with what's going on out in the systems as I've watched them more. I have been deeply criticised by a lot of different people, some of even, scientists and that, about when I first started. So, I suppose it's just being part of a pioneer doing something different. You're going to get criticised. I got deeply criticised. Oh, you're planting eucalyptus. No, I've never seen anything grow with eucalyptus before. They don't allow anything else to grow with them. Oh, you're going to cause fires. You're causing more snakes. You're going to cause snakes and pests. Every part of those criticisms that have come to me, it's been the complete opposite. The systems hold the moisture, they cool the environment. The eucalyptus you'll see, they're allowing everything else to grow with them, and there is nothing else for this region that grows as fast as they do for this to create that much biomass that you need on the soil. And the snake issue, that was very interesting. We have hardly seen any snakes at all, and yet our neighbours are complaining about snakes everywhere. And I thought, you know what, isn't that ironic? The most poisonous snakes that we've got here in Australia and everything love hot, dry environments. That's why they don't want to be here now. No. So, the complete turnaround has happened. And for growers, you can still be growing all your early crops, later crops, and then timber crops, and as the system grows with you, you've got a retirement income that you planted way back at the beginning. And so you don't start thinking about your retirement when you're 60, you can be thinking about it right back now in your young age and have it growing. And like I say, money does grow on trees. Literally in these systems.
And it keeps you young working it as well.
And it's a beautiful paradise to work in. You'll find the difference of walking out the difference in temperature is massive. You can be working in a beautiful, cool environment. We've been doing the testings with the water usage in comparison to monoculture for exactly the same crops. We're using 7 times less the amount of water than they are in monoculture. That in itself is massive because of the whole system. So all the ground's always covered, the grasses are always there growing, and we're putting that on. We've got the tree coverage, and it's a multi-stacking coverage, not like monoculture where you've got a one crop happening. Because when you've got one crop here happening like this, you actually create a roof, what we call like a roof here. And so you've got this massive evaporation all leaving the system here, in between your rows, where you'll often see it's not covered. Any moisture that's happening here is getting drawn out and wicked out by the sun, the wicking effect, out that way as well. So having that covered, having every structure covered like this, so this one production. So we did a row specifically based for bean production.
How's it going?
Really good. Yeah. Anything to feed the bees, yeah. And so it can be for anything, You wouldn't think you could have one for bees, but we did it. A lot of natives that the bees would be feeding on. There was bottle brushes and all kinds of things. Grevilleas, there was sunflowers at the beginning. Because, and her bees are always over here, basil and... Yeah. So you can specifically make one just around for bees even. So anything is possible.
I'm just curious, so you mentioned before that this syntropic system or syntropic farming in general is compatible with grazing systems. Can you maybe go into a bit more detail about how that would work? Like I imagine, wouldn't they also eat the crops that you're trying to produce for human consumption too?
Yep. They've done a bit of studies in Brazil already on this. We found, and I've also found the same here, once the systems get about 2 years established in the trees, it's the best time then to bring the animals through. When they're really young, yeah, you don't want them trampling over the trees and that kind of thing, but once they're up to this now, the animals won't go barging through this. Okay. Use all your multi-species cover crops, everything there to feed your animals the healthiest, more diversity in their diet and in their gut.
Even then, I mean, it's simple enough with the rows to be doing fencing, electric fencing, and that kind of setup's pretty straightforward.
Or you just have electronic gates at the ends. Ernst has done a massive project in Brazil with one of the biggest beef producers over there currently, and his system is sort of like puts all his cattle and that come back to, not back to roost, back to sleep in the centre of the area, and he split his paddocks up all like that so they can actually come through, and
just keep working them around.
Yeah, working them around, bringing them back in. But it's a massive big project he did in Brazil with one of the biggest beef producers over there.
How old is Ernst?
How old?
Yeah.
He's well in his 60s, he could be nearly even 80, he's fair age. And the ironic part is Ernst was a genetic scientist. He's one of the top genetic scientists in the world. And his whole job was to genetically engineer plants because of the changing environments. And to have that change in him going, this is madness. Let's just, let's create an environment so I don't have to be doing this. So he left his job and did this. And that's the beauty of, because he's got so many, other scientists around it, that this got a really good background of scientific research happening with it. And
Catching fire around the world.
big time, yeah. I mean, happening everywhere. China had Ernst over there a couple of months ago. Spending huge money putting in, they've got a big wake-up call and went, we've got to do this, large scale, right through this whole country. Every country has to do this. There's not one of us that aren't facing some aspect of climate change.
And also the loss of the groundwater from the irrigation that has been happening, damage to the rivers,
Constant
reefs.
damage. I've had a lot of the barrier reef catchment authorities and terrain, all those guys through. I've been training all of them up in it, and I said rather than just running, yes, we need the riparian zones, have a look at this for your farming zones before you even get to the riparian zones, so you aren't getting any runoff down to there.
That's right.
Yeah, I was reading the water quality report from the reef water quality plan. $600 million to fix the water going into the reef because it's degrading it very fast.
Oh yeah.
And it's they pumped so many millions of dollars into these engineering solutions and they haven't worked. All the scientists agree that the sediment content is increasing, it's getting worse. So I think they said the conditions are right for an alternative approach, and I think this is perfect.
This is the answer that we need right now. It's typically the answer to all the degradation. And Ernst coins, there's no such thing as poor soil. It's just the degradation here, the way we're treating soil. It's a lack of humus. It's just the way we've treated our land. I looked at video footage sent up to me from down near Stanthorpe and that recently, from farmers down there. I'm watching those dust storms come through and I looked at it and went, are you mad? I said, that looks like a desert storm coming through, let alone, are you that wealthy that all that topsoil is your real estate, prime real estate, just gone, you are mad. You've got to be mad. That's your real estate, that's your growing topsoil, just gone.
People are just, we've been blinded by the dollar, right? Like that's the reality of the world that we live in. They're blinded by the dollar and making more money. No one really thought about the consequences of doing those things until now when it's starting to be too obvious to ignore.
Yeah, it was all just quick, easy solutions, and nothing is ever good or out of a quick, easy solution. providing a solution like this that is equally more profitable, and I can show you out here it's more profitable because working with Growcom at the moment, they're blown away that we got mango trees in production in 3 years, by the time I pick them, that I've got over 50 fruit tree on them in 3 years, which takes normally 4 to 5 years.
Yeah.
So it's actually working more profitable, let alone all the multi-stacking as well that's going on in there.
Exactly, when you change that direction, that's all it really is. You know, it's just changing a direction and an attitude, and then we can fix things as quick as we can reckon in something. Like it always seems like, oh, we reckon, you know, it's going to take forever to come back, but once you start working with the system, it's easy to stand against it.
Yeah, and the pruning is really vital to speed up succession, you know.
Yeah.
And some people go, oh, pruning, you're hurting the trees and that. I said, what does the cyclone do? We're just speeding up that cycle because in that pruning, you're activating all the growth within the soil, you're bringing down all that biomass, you're covering the soil at all times, and, you know, I've worked in, like I said, commercial agriculture for many, many years, and we'd be using gibberellic acid and all these things out there. It's doing it naturally there by pruning. All the active growth hormones are being released, and so when you're wanting a fruiting tree to get a boost, just prune the eucalyptus. He's happy to be pruned, and then you're still releasing all that growth hormones into the trees you want.
Is there a long transition period, like if a farmer is changing to a regenerative system, do they have to wait for a period of time before it's kind of fruitful, or can you kind of implement it straight away and they can still
You can
keep
start
producing
implementing and start right from, it depends on the grower of what they want to grow.
Yeah.
If you wanted to do a lot of the small scale horticultural stuff, you can be making money in 90 days of implementing a system. We've proven, we've done the figures out here, in 3 months we paid for all the trees in the row, of just the first lot of production out of that row, in 3 months. So we don't have to wait 5 years for our first crop to come off, we're already making money in 3 months.
Yeah. And then shortly after that again, and shortly after that.
It's constantly successional. You're not just waiting, and living roots in the soil is what produces carbon. It's the highest production through the liquid carbon pathways. I've been with Dr. Christine Jones. She loves it. She's starting to really pump this out there now on top of what all her teachings and that are.
Yeah.
And so as many diverse and living roots in the soil you can have, that's your liquid carbon pathways. And not just through grasses, because grasses and that, you will get it up to a saturation point. I've been studying some of the stuff coming from, that's done over 20 years with the grasses and multi-species cover crops. And they found that there's a saturation point that actually the carbon then begins to oxidize and leave. Anyway, so that's why the trees are important too, as well as all that, because you don't get that saturation point.
Yeah.
So yay.
Win-win.
What would the farmer do that already has a big established orchard? So you've got all the rows, all established. My mangoes, whatever, or even pineapples, because where we live there's lots of them. What can they do?
What we do with them is when they want to prune, we go in and what we call a retrofit on the entire row. All that pruning goes down. We put all, because while we're pruning, you're active, like I said, all those growth hormones are going into the soil. We then pack that up with all the crops that they want to grow.
What if it's just mangoes?
If it's just mangoes, at those season of pruning, you still got to prune. And then at that pruning time is when we come in and put all that biomass in the soil and we bring in all the plants and we start.
Bring in other trees.
Oh yeah.
So basically, because I missed a little bit, I just don't quite get it. It's a bit.
I'll show you a mango orchard out here that, way I have planted it just as an example for a mango grower of what they can do. I've done these systems out here I did for industries that are already happening up here just to open their eyes a bit of what you can do. It's not, don't have to necessarily copy exactly what I'm doing. You can make your own recipe that suits you for your area. And
You grow under the mango trees.
you're going to have a look.
Ah.
You can grow underneath the mango trees. There's the gingers that will be coming back up again now, they're a low strata. I always like to have living ground covers in there at all times. We had pumpkins originally. We've already picked over a ton of pumpkins out of the area underneath there at the beginning stage. Sweet potatoes, another great crop for underneath. I try and encourage as many growers as goodness. You know, they say, I can't keep up with the water. I said, well, go put sweet potatoes underneath it. The least you can do, at least that's a living ground cover. You don't have to pick the sweet potatoes. They can be feeding the worms. Worms love sweet potatoes. So you're increasing the worm life underneath the trees, using less water, and your ground's kind of keeping it cool. At the least that they can do. All this growth, it's proof that it happens. Yeah. It's swinging now, bigger than ever before. And so we need a system that's going to bring that all back in, which these do. And yeah, it makes you a lot more resilient. And your profit's going to stay in your farm and stay with you. So then the community is going to be more profitable too.
Where do you go, like marketing a lot, having so many different types of produce?
What we've been working with is a lot of the local, you know, organic co-ops and things like that. And, you know, it's, some people might say, oh, you know, there's so much, you know, marketing-wise that happen. There's a food shortage worldwide. And they don't know how to fix it in mainstream agriculture. The, you know, ministers and that do not know how to fix it.
Yeah.
We
So
have
you
the
don't
answer.
have any problem getting, you know, getting rid of produce.
Especially when you've got an organic, really healthy organic product, because you're now talking not only just being organic, but you've got a product that is building fungal dominant soils. So then that's another ball game again. Dr. Zach Bush talks a lot about that. A lot of his clients that are suffering from autism and a lot of degenerative diseases, he's actually getting them to interact out in forest soils again and finding it's turning everything around. All these neurodegenerative diseases are turning around. So we are actually providing food from that.
Yeah.
So
Have you been through the process of getting certified organic, or have you?
we've got our certification through the shop at the moment, because they do, you know, for smaller growers at this point. And, you know, we'll go larger scale, you know, certification when we think it's worthy to go that point.
Yeah, bit of a, so a lot of those things can be more trouble than they're worth in some ways, you know, like it's just a piece of paper for marketing at the end of the day, but there's a process that goes with it, eh?
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
you essentially can be doing it anyway.
Yeah, totally.
It's just that label, really.
Yeah, and it's a little crazy the way the system is set at the moment, because as organic growers, you're paying for your certification and everything, and all this to provide healthier food. That should be really subsidised by the government to actually do that. Why should we be paying to grow no chemical food? And
That's, I mean, the certification often just becomes a cottage industry, basically, you know, like the certification process itself, just to get that in, you know, when you're doing it anyway, you're doing it, you stand there with your hand on your heart, so this is what I'm selling, clearly organic, you know, and I think that would probably be the way to move forward. I think the certification stuff will probably fall away, because people are blaming organic everywhere, and
they've overused and misused the concept, and
those things end up corrupting, and
yeah, we're pushing forward with a regenerative model. So it goes way beyond even organics. We're pushing for regenerative certifications in the way that the government can come and support regenerative farming. Let's support that rather than just supporting drought relief when they're still going to be doing the same thing over and over again. You know, let's get some hope behind it.
It's still monoculture.
Yes.
that's right, exactly.
And still imports.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So,
it just becomes a list of rules. It's not anything special.
so there's a big movement at the moment for getting this all under regenerative ag and having that as a regenerative agricultural model.
Like you say, the government should industry provide that
That is
certification for
already
free,
starting
and
to happen with
yeah.
the support from the government. I've been with the government even this weekend, and
Yeah.
the support's really coming forward now.
Cool.
I'm on the front line, I'm pushing for it.
Great.
So,
No, well, it's you know, like, it's got people like us that are, you know, a lot of the reason for moving up into this part of the world was to go down this kind of pathway and, you know, look at permaculture for a long time, and then this is, you know, something special again, because permaculture is really great for self-sufficiency, but to be able to not have to go to work and be able to live off your land
you need that mechanisation and
to have someone like
systemisation.
yourself pioneer that person. Like I say, lots of that's where the questions about marketing and all that sort of stuff comes from. There's no one thing to grow lots of it and be keep self-sufficient,
But there's
doesn't
a
pay your mortgage.
huge demand out there that's moved. People are wanting regenerative, they're wanting organic, good healthy food.
Yeah.
The whole mindset in the people are changing. So, you know, when you see, there used to be a model, you know, get big or get out model. And Woolworths and Coles and even those are now going, we need organic, we need to jump on this ship at long last,
sure.
because they're seeing it.
Yeah. No, I worked in the large northern cattle industry for most of my life, and I saw, you know, what happens with it, and it was always that, you know, it's numbers. And it's not successful with it now. It's a disaster. The whole top of Australia where they grow cattle is a disaster at the moment.
Yeah.
And then flood on top of drought in Western Queensland annihilated it. Absolutely not. And the only reason that happened is because of the way we run cattle in this country, where everyone has their little patch of land and they've got to make a quid out of it, no matter what. So they flog it down.
They're flogging it down, and the ground is not even able, when the rains do come, the ground is not actually able to even take that moisture in. It runs off.
Yeah. Oh, it's mind blowing.
The lack of humus within the soils. Oh yeah.
This year it's insane. Just, you know, turkey nest, everything just gone, topsoil gone. And when I had a jelly creek in July, and it's the worst of it. It was just about after a flood. You know, it's insane how much damage that did, and that just came to them. The fact that one, there was the rain event, but because the country was so flogged, there was nothing to slow the water down.
No.
You know,
Well, most of the country, especially wherever you've got clay, this is where I give a demonstration of it. You know, if you're going to leave you see paddocks everywhere all around here that are just bare ground. So you got moisture, clay, and sun. You got a clay pot.
Yeah. You're making clay pots on a large scale.
It doesn't make sense on a large scale manner, and you expect any moisture or any penetration. And even some of these guys, their biggest attractors now can't even plough these paddocks because they're just rock pans.
Even out there, a very simple thing to see is, especially in places like the Barclay Tablelands and that sort of thing, where in good years you've got lots of grass, but it's all man-made waters, and because of the expense of putting waters in, there's only water every 10 or 12 k's, but the cattle are essentially free ranging, but the changes that you see in the ground, depending on how far you are from that water, it's insane. Like at the water, there's tons and tons of fertiliser, but it's compacted, it's flogged, it's got no protection. Then you get out, the grass is ranked, and that fertiliser, and it's just at that simple scale, what happens when you monoculture something that seems like it's free range and working with nature out there, because you just let it go. It's like putting water there, but it has a massive effect on.
Yeah, well, a lot of times that, you know, there's very little undergrowth in that there. We don't clear all that out, either with fire or something. We're constantly clearing them out. And so none of that undergrowth is able to come through. And so, again, you're back on a monocultural type system, and all that moisture's being lost. Last year we had 8 months with no rain here before we got rain. Everybody's bore ran out, the aquifers were right down, so everybody was drilling like mad for water. And I just went, oh, this is going to be interesting. Anyway, I was watching what was going on out in the systems, and they held it through, believe it or not, just by the dew of a night time stayed on the grass. It was enough to keep that moisture. Because of the trees, it wasn't evaporated immediately. And so that just kept enough moisture there to hold everything through. I had farmers at the front fence here going, where the hell are you getting your water from? And I said, what do you mean, where am I getting my water from? I've got no water. I'm the same as you guys. No, you got green grass, you got water. I said, no, I haven't got water, I got nothing. I said, this is the system. The moisture can stay in the system. You know, it's a bit like the Garden of Eden before there was ever rain. Where it can be the same principle and keep that system compacted and keep the moisture in there. Even it's just enough.
So what's the difference between using eucalyptus, for example, and compost?
Why I'm using eucalyptus here, and I'm not saying it's a recipe for everywhere, but that is what nature is doing as the pioneers around me.
Yeah.
There are other environments, say like where close to the crater and that, you see who's the pioneers coming through there. You'll get acacias and that kind of thing coming through.
Yeah.
Utilise those that are there. That's why Ernst doesn't do recipes. Yet we've got farms that we're working with down in Cunningham's Corner. You know how dry that is. Poor young fella down there just inherited his dad's farm, and he's like, this is a desert. You know, what on earth am I going to do with this? No rain, no nothing. We're using cacti pet.
Yeah, right.
They're acting the same as a banana does in these regions, holding moisture, becoming biomass in that environment.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Cunningham's Corner. And we can do it there.
In Australia.
Use what is native to that area, and you know, if you look at the functions of each of the plants that are going in. If you're wanting a water holding device up here, bananas, yeah, great. But if you're in those much drier environments, use agave, use cactuses. That's why they're coming up there. Yeah, that's why they're coming up there. So use them as water holding, putting humus back in the soil. So they're the equal to a banana here.
Right.
Could you utilise the agave and that up here as well as,
Yeah,
the bananas?
yeah,
Like just
totally.
mix it up even more, like different vitamins, different minerals.
Totally, if you want to, yeah. And there are, you know, some environments up here that probably would really struggle doing bananas because the tableland's got, like, you know, so many different climatic regions.
Yeah.
We've got temperate, we've got tropicals, we've got, you know, subtropics, we've got even, you know, more arid environments. So, you know, here is a great demonstration for a lot of different classrooms to happen.
Well, when you're looking at it from this perspective, every plant in the world is there to be chosen from. You know, that's your choice really at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And a lot
You're
what
not
we
limited
call
to anything.
weeds are actually beneficials. We think about a graded mindset, we look at them as weeds.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're fixing a problem. They're the insurance policy of the earth. You know? And so it's just this that's got to change more than anything.
It's usually the slowest thing to change.
Oh yeah. But a lot of young farmers I'm finding are the ones really going, I don't want to do farming the same as my dad did. My dad's now dead nearly due to chemicals and everything else. And he worked his ass to the bone, still hasn't got anything but
Lived in the
farm.
dust.
Hey?
Lived in the dust.
Yeah, yeah, and they really want to change.
Yeah.
And
That's why
so,
it's dropped down south. Because of the way they manage it.
yeah, yeah, it's definitely a man-made drought. Yeah.
It's my South Australia was I went moved down there for 10 years, 11 years ago from the territory, and did a lot of flying around down there, and you see the west coast out behind Port Lincoln. It used to be mulga forest sort of stuff, you know, like it's stuff that takes 100 years to get, you know, 10, 12 foot high. But it was green, you know, it created a microclimate. And when they cleared, it wasn't like parts of Queensland where they cleared. They had no shade strips, nothing except along the roads. You get a little stretch along the side of the road. And what I realised working over there, because we used mostly working in winter, as the cold fronts are coming through. The cold fronts come from Perth across the Bight and across that area to Adelaide, and the cold fronts were coming across, but very little rain, no rain in them. And it was just so obvious to me, looking at that then, it's like, this would have been so different when this, you know, millions and millions and millions of acres was green.
Yeah.
As simple as that now, it's just red dirt. Most, you know, if they don't get rain at the right time, 5 inches up that cloud, it just blows away, it's just gone. And,
Yeah, I've seen, like I've been recently down south and that, and some of the most beautiful areas that used to be beautiful agricultural areas are now deserts. They're like my road coming in. There's very few little bits, and they were beautiful agricultural areas. They're now deserts. We're constantly creating deserts.
Yeah, we're trying to make life by killing life. That's what agriculture works on, is anti-life, basically.
Yeah, yeah.
Trying to kill stuff all
Well,
the time. You know?
Neil's actually in the process of writing a book, you know, I was taught to kill.
Yeah.
That's as
So
a farmer,
true. So true, yeah.
you know, and where his journey is, you know.
Yeah,
So,
it's the birds, it's the bugs, it's the weeds,
yeah,
it's just
everything, just kill of everything.
And it occupies a lot of their time. When you live around normal farmers, cotton, my first cotton farmer's daughter, and I saw them starting up cotton farming in the Nanawan, New South Wales, and most of what they talked about was when's the next, what's the next lot of chemicals we pay big money for agronomists to come out. When do you reckon the bugs are going to be here? How many bugs? How much should we spray?
Yeah.
Then they'll be talking to the guy that's going to spray it, and then, their whole 90% of their talking is about killing things.
Yeah, because that's the problem, you know, even most of our agronomists that are out there, they're chemical salesmen now. They're not actually agronomists anymore. You know, we need to bring ecology and all of that into there so that we're not doing them out of a job, but if they don't change, they will be out of a job. So there's so many better methods that we can be doing. We don't have to stick to that old model. You know, I call it the one-hit wonder. When you're doing monoculture, it's the one-hit wonder. You're hoping that, make sure the goose lays the golden egg, you've got one egg, hoping to God you get the price that year for that product.
Every day in the paper there's something about somewhere got hit with some sort of natural event, wiped out the whole crop, or 80% of their crop,
Or everyone's growing the same crop. Or everyone's growing the same crop,
That's
which
right,
is currently
in the area,
favourable.
Yeah, and then everybody's crop comes in at once, boom.
Well, that's what happens with the pest, especially with cotton and the heliosis. Also, it gets way worse when that's all everyone in the area is doing is growing cotton.
Yeah, and it attracts pests.
Yeah,
you know, because it's not healthy.
Yeah,
As
and
soon
there's
as your
nothing to
plant-
support. There's nothing to support the predators for that pest.
No, there's nothing else. As soon as your plant is stressing with temperature or anything like that, the plant will actually go into what we call its proteinaceae. It's breaking down the proteins within the leaves of the plant. And so that's why you see the browning in that, you know, especially with corn and that, because you'll see that stripping and that browning happening in the corn, because the corn is getting way too much sunlight at that point. And it actually breaks down. It's not a healthy corn to be eating at all. And it brings in the pests then. And so when you get everything in the right light strata, we're all happy in the shade at the right light and heat requirement. Them poor fellas, they can't just get up and walk and get in the shed out of the hot sun. Look what we're doing to them, and they're a living entity too.
The other thing we were talking about it before is that, with monoculture, and even a lot of times when people are talking about these kind of things, they talk about the work involvement, the human input. We don't want to do it that way because there'll be too much work, but it misses that element of how much the human input feeds the plant in itself. That just being present with the plants,
Life support systems.
being there with it. So, whereas monoculture, it's over, especially over the last 50 years, numbers of people that have left, even in the territory on those big cattle stations, places like BRD and that, where I used to be, 150 people living there in the day, drovers coming through all the time. There's now like 10, 15 in the middle of the year. There's just not people interacting with it, it's machinery interacting with it more than anything. And people are trying to push further down that road now with automation of machinery.
Oh yeah, it's going very much that way.
It's insane. And they say, because I've spent most of my life mustering cattle with a helicopter out there, and there's always people going, drones will take over. And you've got no concept that you've got to have a person there. You don't realise that it's the person that makes the difference. If you've got a bad attitude, it doesn't matter whether you're in a helicopter or a horse or whatever, the animals aren't going to work with you. So having a machine flapping back and forth, you just won't get it.
No. And these systems can work for any, I cannot see a crop or an animal production that it doesn't work for. So it's just depending on what system you're running. In Brazil, in sugarcane, you might widen your rows to 20 metres so that you can get your machinery and that down, but you're still getting that benefit. Grazing and that, you might go 10 metres between your rows, so you can still get grasses and that. You're still strip grazing, which is even better still, because the trees are your living fence posts then. So you can quite easily just strip graze through. There's so much from holistic grazing on that management. And what we also know with the grazing on the grasses actually don't go into proteinaceae, which means the grasses are higher in protein. The cattle need to eat less and are healthier. So yeah, it's perfect for any type of system that we're growing.
It's like the complete opposite of feeding and grain.
Totally. Yeah. Any more input?
I just noticed with bananas, they just keep on growing, getting bigger and bigger, further and further. So how far do you let them go out?
We deep up ours constantly. Yeah. So that, I freaked out about that when I was originally learning about it. What? How can you have 20 trees in one hole?
Yeah,
What?
exactly.
How did that work out? But even just I did plans here and put some in the same hole with the bananas and the avocados and the eucalyptus in exactly the same hole. The banana walks himself out as you depup it, and it'll walk out away and allow the avocado to have that space. So, and then the eucalyptus goes way up over the top. And because, avocados and a lot of all these crops are actually forest crops. Any fruit crop is a forest crop. They require fungal dominant soils. Somehow or another we've forgotten these all came from forests. So let's bring the forest back on the land and grow healthier foods.
And also with the bananas, it's the biomass, isn't it? You're using them all the time for the biomass. Hey?
We do. We use them as a water device. When we're young trees that'll get planted, you'll see I've chopped them up and laid them on the soils because they're a sponge full of water. That's why in monoculture you're getting Panama and all these diseases on bananas. You've got these massive sponges that you're pouring out water out there, and it's a swamp. You're becoming anaerobic in your soils. So welcoming every bad bacteria there is, and they've got their soils. I've had the CSIRO officers and that out here, and he said, I could walk Panama onto this property and you're not going to get it. He said, your soils are covered, your diversity is there, you're not going to get Panama here.
Takes the fear out of so much
Fear
stuff.
takes all the fear out.